Washington has always been a part of who I am. I am the co-founder and executive director of the Washington Waterfront Underground Railroad Museum. And the museum exists to explain how freedom seekers got their freedom from Washington, which is a significant part of the Underground Railroad. And so what we do here at the museum, we share how freedom seekers in the greater Washington area got their freedom primarily from the river. Washington was the second largest port after Wilmington. So the river has always played a significant role in Washington's history, specifically for freedom seekers. So that's the story that the Underground Railroad Museum tells, the history of how people were able to get their freedom from overland routes in Washington as well, but specifically from the river. Well, the spirit of the Underground Railroad here in Washington definitely is infused in the souls of so many people that lived here. So forms of resistance has always been in the blood of many people of color here in Washington. Well, I want to briefly tell you about my cousin, Sarah Keys Evans. We pick up her story in about 1952, August 1st, 1952. When Sarah was leaving her base of Fort Dix, New Jersey, she was coming to visit her family in Washington. She gets on a bus, Fort Dix, New Jersey, but in Roanoke Rapids, the bus drivers changed. Now, up until then, she could have sat on any seat she wanted to because there had been a Supreme Court ruling 6 years earlier that stated you can sit any place you want to sit on a bus. It didn't depend on your skin color. But that law was completely ignored. In Roanoke Rapids, North Carolina, the bus drivers changed because this bus driver was going to bring the bus now from Roanoke Rapids to Washington, right here in downtown Washington at 2nd and Respite Streets. Well, a white soldier got on the bus and there was only one seat in the back. But Sarah was told she had to surrender her seat, which was not too far behind the bus driver, to the white soldier. Well, Sarah feels like, look, I'm in the military just like you are. I'm willing to die for this country just like you are. If it comes down to it, I have every right to sit here. The soldier protested, talked to the driver about it. The driver refuses to start the bus until Sarah moves to the back, which she does not. So she's promptly taken off the bus, the police are called, and Sarah is placed under arrest in a Roanoke Rapids jail. Sarah's released about a day later. She's able to contact her family. Her father meets her. She's distraught. They're distraught. She tells them the whole story. She wants to let it go because she's not in the mind to even deal with it, but her father insists she takes this up with the court. There were lawyers at Howard University. They take her case and they take it to the North Carolina Interstate Commerce Commission. Now this case is going back to the Supreme Court, and Robert Kennedy got in on her case. It takes 3 years for her case to be settled, but a landmark decision is made on November 24th, 1955, and the landmark ruling for every bus in this country that crosses the state line, you cannot segregate on those buses. Now, why that's sufficient is because 1 week later, December 1st, 1955, is when Rosa Parks took her historic stance about not surrendering her seat on a Montgomery, Alabama bus. And from there on out, we always look at the Montgomery boycott and Rosa Parks as the mother of the civil rights movement. However, our very own Washington-raised Sarah Keys is really the mother of the civil rights movement. But that's the courage of so many people of color living here in Washington. They saw what their ancestors went through. And so that courage has always been infused in the lives of so many people here.